Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video, unfortunately, I have some bad news. This was supposed to be the week of Mega Master League, but unfortunately, due to a persisting error where some trainers could bring 3 Mega Pokemon simultaneously, the league has been replaced by Master Premier. I'm really bummed out. Mega Masters is one of my favorite formats. So I decided I'm not gonna let this decision stop me from having fun. So today, I'm taking Mega Tyranitar for a spin in some practice Mega Master League battles with viewers of this channel. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and we have a battle of Megas in the first match, Mega Tyranitar versus Mega Latios. And right off the bat, these smackdowns are absolutely shredding. Mega Latios has a massive stat product, but even it pales in comparison to the king that is Mega Tyranitar. Dragon Claw is going to be shielded. Now I am going to save switch into Zacian. Zacian is going to be answered with Duskmane. Duskmane going to be hit with a Wild Charge, but Duskmane is very okay with that. One Wild Charge not going to be particularly threatening. I'm going to look to farm up, and my opponent will fire off the energy right before I get Wild Charge number 2. They're going to full send the Sunsteel Strike. I'm going to look to farm up a little bit extra and then pick up the KO with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge KOs the Duskmane. In the back is Rhyperior, and I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty okay position. I'm going to fire off the close combat. That's going to connect, and now I send out Palkia. Palkia can take any one move here. This should be the Rock Wrecker that will inflict quite a lot of damage. In comes the Latios, and these Dragon Breaths are deleting my poor Palkia. I make it to an Aqua Tail. That does not do a lot of damage to the Latios, and now I don't have a lot of health remaining on my final 2 Pokemon. I send in Tyranitar, but I can't get the farm down. Opponent is able to make it to the Dragon Claw. Tyranitar gets the exit with a move. In comes Rhyperior. It's going to be a race. We are able to snipe with a quick attack on Zacian, and we escape with a very narrow win. Hopping into game number 2, Mega Tyranitar versus the Duskmane. Opponent is going to safe switch out of here into Palkia. I get to bank a brutal swing on the Mega Tyranitar, which is quite nice, and now I get to send in Zacian. Since I don't know what their Mega Pokemon is yet, more often than not, I'm going to need to save my Mega to deal with theirs. So banking energy will give me a lot of options, even if it's a Mega that Tyranitar is not going to do super well against. Close Combat and Wild Charge do the exact same damage, so it doesn't really matter which one I throw. The Quick Attack does pick up the KO, which is very nice. And now, in comes Duskmane. Duskmane immediately met with a Close Combat. Now I'm just going to pivot out into the Palkia. I don't want to concede any farm unless I absolutely have to. I am going to commit the shield, and the opponent is going to go for a Dark Pulse. Now I will look to pick up the knockout with the Aqua Tail, as they've taken quite a lot of damage already. The Aqua Tail is going to be shielded. They make another move, and I have a call to make. I still don't know what their Mega is, so I'm going to save the shield. In comes the Sunsteel, and oh my goodness, it's Mega Garchomp. Mega Garchomp, its stats rival that of Tyranitar. This is a very scary Pokemon. So I throw one Dragon Breath, transfer the Dragon Tail onto Tyranitar, and now I get to start launching some brutal swings. I really do not want to take any move from Garchomp. Garchomp is terrifying, so I'm going to shield up. Unfortunately, I shielded a Sand Tomb, which means that future moves will do more. The Brutal Swing will connect, getting Garchomp low. Garchomp refuses to get farmed down. It's able to make one final move. Sand Tomb Tyranitar barely hanging on. Necrozma should be able to make a move. In comes the Zacian. I'm going to need a catch to do it, and I get the catch. Switching to the 1 HP Palkia, catching the Dark Pulse. In comes Zacian, and we survive by the narrowest of margin, clutching victory from the jaws of defeat, and we're able to take that win. Mega Tyranitar versus Mega Venusaur in the next match. On paper, this should be a matchup where Tyranitar struggles. After all, this is a rock type going up against a grass type. But Mega Tyranitar does not know what type disadvantage is. It already has this Mega Venusaur into the yellow off of neutral fast moves, while it itself is still quite healthy. The opponent is going to fire off another Frenzy Plant. The Venusaur does have a pacing advantage, and now Tyranitar is going to fire off another Brutal Swing. Are they willing to expend the final shield? The answer is no, and they just get farmed down. Tyranitar still so healthy. In comes Zacian. I'm going to farm up quite a bit of energy, and then mirror into my own. I know the Tyranitar energy is basically guaranteed to be good against whatever they have, so they are at the back-to-back wild charges. The nice thing is I know that this will never be enough to KO. I feel pretty comfortable taking this damage. I'm low, but I can always make a move. They're gonna switch out, and their final Pokemon is an Amorous. They shield the wild charge, but that means they have a Mega Tyranitar Stone Edge in their future, and this is going to be a full one-shot. And Amorous gets KO'd. Back in comes the Zacian. I'm farming up, banking some energy, and now I get to send out the Palkia. And Palkia can survive a play rough here from full HP, so Palkia withstands the damage, gets to the Aqua Tail, and that is going to be game over for my opponent, as Palkia is able to clutch the win. Mega Tyranitar versus Mega Rayquaza, good lead in the next match. Opponent safe switches into Duskmane. Duskmane farming up quite a bit, and this is only 8 Shadow Claws, so this is not enough for a Sunsteel Strike, but my opponent's actually on Iron Head. Losing this much health on my Mega is not great, because I know even though I do have a Fairy type in the back, Mega Rayquaza is never to be underestimated. I am going to fire off another Brutal Swing, huge damage, and now a quick switch to Palkia. I wasn't quite able to get the snipe down, and they reacted in time. They went for the Outrage. I lose almost all my HP, and that is an absolutely disastrous turn of events. The mistakes really compounding in this matchup, and now putting me in a pretty difficult spot. Wild Charge will connect. That does solid damage onto Mega Rayquaza. I'm going to go for Wild Charge number 2. Switch clock is almost up. I switch into the Tyranitar, but unfortunately, I did not get the sneak through. The clock didn't come up in time for me to get the 0-turn switch in, and therefore sneak. I got 1-turn switch in, and that means that the Rayquaza still has a bit of health to it, and it's going to be a Solgaleo in the back, and unfortunately, I've just made too many mistakes in this matchup. I'm now double debuffed as well due to the breaking swipes, so I just cannot win this game. I will fire off another Brutal Swing. It ends up being a CMP tie. I'm able to get my opponent decently low, but it's just not enough to win. My opponent gets to fire off an Iron Head now with the Solgaleo. Zacian will not survive, and that, unfortunately, will be my first loss with Mega Tyranitar. Picking up a bad lead in the next match, leading into Zamazenta. My entire charge moveset is walled by a fighting type, so I'm forced to switch out into Zacian, and Zacian will swiftly be answered with Meloetta. Meloetta striking first with a Psyshock, which I am more than happy to no-shield. So Psyshock is going to connect, and now I get to start unleashing Wild Charges. Wild Charge number 1 is going to land, getting Meloetta below half HP. I'm going to overfarm to the max, playing to the CMP tie. So they do have another Psyshock Meloetta with a 1 HP survive. You hate to see it. And unfortunately, I will not be flipping Switch Advantage. Tyranitar will get the smackdown. In the back, they have, oh my goodness, was that a Mega Kangaskhan? Mega Kangaskhan does have access to Mud Slap, Brick Break, and then I believe it's Crunch and Outrage. The good news for me is that Palkia has dominatingly good matchups into my opponent's final 2 Pokemon. Zamazenta just gets severely outpaced, and the same pip attack bonus Dragon Breath just shred through it. And for Mega Kangaskhan, it is not one of the higher stat product Mega Pokemon. Back in comes Mega Kangaskhan, and now I get to fire off the Spatial Rend. Spatial Rend is going to be shielded, and now it's time for Mega Tyranitar to hit the field. Mega Tyranitar is going to be hit with a double super effective Brick Break, and that still does not do a lot. Tyranitar gets the hang on, make it to the Stone Edge, and Mega Master League, it's all about stat product. Down goes Mega Kangaskhan, and that's a good game. Picking up a good lead in the next match, Mega Tyranitar versus Duskmane, and I believe this is actually a Psycho Cut Duskmane, so it will have slightly faster pacing than the regular. Brutal Swing, serious damage, waiting a turn, switching and catching what should be a Sunsteel Strike onto the Palkia will give me a nice advantage. But out comes Mega Gyarados, and this thing packs a punch. Unable to make a Spatial Rend is Palkia, as it's just going to get fully farmed down. In comes Zacian. Zacian does do very well against Mega Gyarados. Gyarados is going to be spamming out Aqua Tails, and the Mega damage here really adds up, as from 2 Aqua Tails, the Zacian is already almost at 25% HP. Wild Charge into the Gyarados does not knock out, but the smackdown after will. So their Mega is off the field. In the back, they're going to have Palkia of their own. And now, Tyranitar up a few Smackdowns is honestly just going to do amazingly here. So Tyranitar, these Smackdowns just tearing this poor Palkia to smithereens. And as long as they can't land an Aqua Tail here, they just can't win. I can fire off another Brutal Swing. Tyranitar exerting so much pressure onto the Palkia. I'm farming up, going for a catch attempt onto the Zacian. The catch attempt is not successful. Opponent is going to get a catch of their own, catching onto the Duskmane. But the biggest issue that they're going to have is they're just in a range where one Smackdown will knock out. So as long as they save the shield for the Tyranitar, you can never hold 3 moves. So Tyranitar is going to get the Smackdown and take the win. Mega Tyranitar, Mega Venusaur, a familiar foe returns. But as we saw, this matchup is genuinely not terrible for the Tyranitar. Tyranitar, I mean, the stat product difference is just absolutely absurd. Tyranitar shielding up the Frenzy Plant, looking to connect with the Brutal Swing. Opponent makes a nice catch onto a Metal Claw Dialga. Metal Claw, an interesting choice, clearly trying to bait out the Zacian, but I'm just going to bring in Palkia. As with Metal Claw, they have basically no Vaso Pressure here, so I'm going to shield up and look to farm all the way down. Iron Head is going to be shielded. Now I should be able to get the farm down here, but the opponent gets damage registration error. The Dragon Breath doesn't go through. They get to the Roar of Time, and down 2 shields. I just can't win, so I'm going to resign the match. Much better lead in the next match, leading into Ho-Oh, and I just feel bad for the opponent at this point. That's such a devastating lead. Leading Ho-Oh into a Mega Tyranitar with Smackdown has to be incredibly deflating. I was a little bit surprised to see Dialga shield up the first close combat, as even with the few Smackdowns that I did, I don't think I put it into close combat range. But the opponent is clearly going to try and make a play for switch advantage, and I can't blame them. Ho-Oh onto Mega Tyranitar is game-endingly bad. But the issue is, even with the energy advantage that they have, the pacing is not Dialga's friend in this matchup. So I'm going to wait. I still see Dialga on the field, so I get to fire off the close combat. And when they bring in the Ho-Oh, I do not want to concede this farm down. I know that I have multiple answers to Ho-Oh on this team, so I'm just going to bring in the Palkia. They can go for the Brave Bird, but that's very okay. I did not want to CMP tie them there. I want to have some residual energy. Ho-Oh is staying in, so whatever they have in back is not a fan of a Palkia up energy. Palkia, Aqua Tail picks up the KO. It's going to have to be their Mega, and it is. The Latios snipes me, and unfortunately, I am unable to get that Spatial Rend. I was so close to the Spatial Rend, but I couldn't quite get there. Brutal Swing, big damage onto the Latios. I farm up, switch, and get a catch onto the Zacian. End up waiting a little bit there as well. And with a bit of a flashy catch, this game will end in victory. Not going to let them get a final charge attack. Wild Charge may be resisted, but they just don't have enough health on that Latios, and we're able to take the win. Moving to the next match, and we're actually starting off midway. I actually led Tyranitar into Gallade, and unfortunately the first part of the match did get cut off there. So it was a Tyranitar lead into Gallade. I save swapped into Palkia, and my opponent stayed in to chip with a Leaf Blade before sending out Duskmane. Duskmane is going to fire off some energy. I am going to decide to let this through. It is an Iron Head, and it does not knock out. So very nice. I am going to actually make it to one final charge attack. And now I'm going to go for the farm down with the Tyranitar, but the Duskmane lives on 1 HP, and I know they have Iron Head, and this is bad, because Iron Head, I lose a lot of HP. In comes Gallade. I'm now going to send in the Zacian. Gallade farming up a massive amount of energy, and it's a Melmetal in the back, and this is very, very bad. So unfortunately, a miserable lead. I wasn't able to win Switch, and now the alignment is very poor for me in the end game. I don't really see a path forward in this game, but I'm going to try. Melmetal is going to lose the CMP tie here to the Zacian. Considering they banked 2 moves on their Gallade, I cannot afford to shield. From full health, I can comfortably take a Leaf Blade. But I've already taken an Iron Head, which means a Leaf Blade will actually knock me out. So I just have to let everything go and try and farm down. I need as much energy as I can possibly get. Gallade re-hits the field of play, and it's going to start firing off the energy that it stored from earlier. I am at the back-to-back Brutal Swings. I need 1 Smackdown and a Brutal Swing to KO. If it does, then I win this game. Come on, Tyranitar. Can we clutch one more time? No, we cannot. Gallade hangs on. TYRANITAR, despite the terrible alignment, almost put the team on his back there to clutch the win. Hopping to the final match, leading TYRANITAR into Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor, I am going to respect the Trailblaze here. Trailblaze would hit for some serious super effective damage. Trailblaze, of course, is going to ramp up the damage of this Scizor more and more and more. Scizor, very uncomfortable lead, as of course the team is pretty weak to steel. I end up safe switching into Palkia. My opponent responds with a Gyarados. Gyarados, a bit of a surprise to see here. Of course, the Mega Gyarados is very strong, but in these particular battles, I asked my viewers to not do the glitch where you can have multiple Megas, which is unfortunately the reason why the league isn't here to begin with. So thankfully, we are just seeing one Mega per team as the format is intended. And now, I was able to grab a shield advantage, which is very, very clutch, as I can send in Zacian, and Zacian is going to look to bank a massive amount of energy. Gyarados going for another Aqua Tail. There's a switch out into TYRANITAR. They bring in Palkia. And this Palkia is about to get absolutely devastated by this Stone Edge. Big damage. Palkia gets absolutely rocked. And from here, I can close out the win with Zacian. Zacian is now going to commit to a full farm down, getting the farm down, and with a charge attack loaded, 2 charge attacks loaded, 1 for each Mon, there's just no way for my opponent to win. They bring in the Scizor. Scizor is going to get knocked out with a Wild Charge, and now I have Wild Charge number 2 for the Gyarados. So whatever combination of Pokemon they brought in, since I still had a shield, this game was over. All in all, I do feel a little bit bittersweet posting this video, because genuinely these battles that I did versus viewers like yourself in the Mega Master League were some of the most fun battles that I did all season. There were some great plays, devastating catches, and Pokemon that we don't really get to see. Like, there was a huge variety in terms of the Mega Pokemon that was used as well, and a lot of that just makes me sad that this isn't an officially sponsored format because of this glitch where people were using multiple Mega Pokemon. So now I feel like I'm left at a little bit of a crossroads. I built a ton of teams. I was probably going to do like 2 videos per day during the Mega Master League because I have so many Mega Mons that I maxed out for this. And the fact that they replaced with Master Premier, it's a fine format, but Master Premier, considering what could have been, I just don't feel excited to play it at all. So I'm at a bit of an impasse where I guess I could post Open Great League because I still do like Open Great League quite a bit. But if people are interested in seeing more of the Mega Masters teams that I prepared, if people want to see that, I'm more than happy to make more of these style videos where I can battle viewers, and that way, because I imagine quite a few of you guys prepared Mega Masters teams as well, we could actually use these teams that we worked so hard to build. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please leave a like on the video, especially if you do want to see more Mega Masters videos this week. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.